Hester, Robert Hester, and his partner Swill went in there and asked for this Mike Cole. And then there was some altercation in there, so the officer started out, but one of the guys grabbed Hester and threw him down, and Swill, and then he ran outside and called for backup. Well, by that time, they had already got Hester unconscious and locked the door and everything. And so they wound up beating him to death, and his watch was completely destroyed. So the SWAT team came out there, and it was, well, beginning to be a hostage. But we knew after 8 or 10 hours it was known. And we got the telephone switched over across the street, cut the power on, and I was in a SWAT department.
He's videoing.
Oh, he's just making a picture.
No, he's videoing you, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Videoing the story.
Oh, that'd be fun. So we got the SWAT, and I went down about 4 or 5 blocks, and I saw this car from Atlanta that said CBS News. I said, do you have any parabolic microphones? You know, we listen all the way. He said, yeah, I think I do. I said, well, I need a pair. I've got about 100 feet of cable. He said, just get what you want out of it. So I got it, and I went back around there. Went back around to the back of the building and found a buddy of mine from organized crime. And I said, here's your 2 parabolic microphones, 100 foot of cable. And of course, we'd already cut the utilities and everything. So got a guy to crawl up on the house and put 1 microphone on each side of the house so we could listen to it. And after that all happened, between 2 o'clock in the afternoon until 11 or 12 at night. So finally, about 3 o'clock in the morning, the director said, we'll go in the house and get him. So the tax squad went in, and you heard 6 gunshots. And then after that, it was dead silence, and the front door opens, and there's the tax squad. Well, when the commanding officers went in, there were 6 black brethren, head, toe, head, toe, head, toe, in one of the rooms with 1 shot back here at each one of them's head. So my partner and I, we loaded up our video equipment, and I told my buddy's name, Dave Jones. I said, Dave, if you see any holes in the floor when we get in that video, and they stand on them until we can decide what to do. Well, come to find out, after it's all over with, the shoot team took up all the carpet in the whole house and sent it to the TBI, and there was not any kind of shots or anything in the floor. The SWAT team had taken them out like that. And then when we got on further into the investigation, of course, I videoed the whole back of the house, and he had all kind of psychedelic stuff on there and everything. And it was a group of Rastafarians, and it was a cult, and they only drank Kool-Aid, and they smoked marijuana, and they were getting ready for the end of the world, is what this cult was on. Yeah, they sure did. But the guy that they were looking for at first, Mike Cole, was the one that said they ran out the front door. And they found him later, but he didn't have nothing to do with it.
But SWAT, I admire them. I remember the troopers used to get jealous of them.
Sharon was a strain of TB, and I never had TB. But come up with some medication that I would take IV morning and night. The medications that I would take came in a packet like an IV. It had a saline solution in it. And at the bottom there was a packet of powdery stuff that I had to break and shake it up real good in this liquid saline, hang it up morning and night time for 13 weeks, morning and night, morning and night. And finally, they took the crap out of my knee and put in a new one. And I had to do exercises and everything. Still doing them IVs day and night.
Well, when you had to do this IV pack every morning and night, you did it yourself? You administered yourself?
Sue and I
Did you have a fitting, like a coupling, you know, that was already in your veins, so you could just plug it in?
had a, oh, what do they call it?
Appliance?
No, there's a name for it. It was put in under the skin,
Yeah.
and I had two tubes coming out, and one of them had a red cap on it, and the other one had a regular cap. The red cap was for morning, putting the IV in. The other one was for night. And I would have, Frank Jr. would go over to the doctor's office, and he would come home with looked like a bread box with saline that we'd have to flush it out every day with saline.
Right.
And then, of course, Sue helped me a lot. And we had to keep this stuff cool in the refrigerator, and I would have enough for 2 weeks. And then Frank Jr. would have to go back and get another supply of this crap to put in my body.
Yeah.
And it would take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour
To drip.
10 or 20 minutes for it to drip. And I would sit, I had a special place in the den. I could back up against the wall and lock my wheelchair, and I could see the TV. And I sat there, like I say, over an hour, letting this thing drip into my body.
Yeah.
To kill this stuff. And then about every other week, Frank Jr. would have to take me to the doctor's office where they would draw blood and analyze it some way. So all that took the biggest part of a year getting over that mess. I was the only second or third person in Shelby County that had the microbacteria Shalom. It was very rare.
How'd you get it? Do they know?
Didn't know.
Could they have you have gotten it when they put your knee in the first time?
It was either done from the prosthesis. Smith and Nephew's the one that made the knee, and it was put in St. Francis Hospital on Park Avenue. And my attorney said, we'll never be able to prove where it came from. I said, well, hell, let's sue both of them. He said, well, you're not going to get anything out of it because there's no telling where you actually got it.
Yeah.
So,
Eileen said about the only 2 times you can really have a case for malpractice like that is if they mix the left side up with the right side, you know?
or they leave something.
Or they leave something in you.
Right. That's
So those are the only 2 times, because you got real evidence then. But other than that, you know.
You're not going to find any doctors that'll testify against another one.
Or even like that they'll put it in the report that they screwed up, you know,
Right.
in the records.